It's a rainy day here in Wales, so it's inside time again. And I've been asked a few times, like, when you're self-sustainable, what I'll have then for the winter? Just fruit and veg, no, not for other stuff. So I thought I'll do a little round in the kitchen, what's all preserved for the year, because this is the richest moment. So it's cool to show loads of stuff that we have. I'll just start on the top shelf, and the first thing is dried beans. So this is one of the beans that we have. We have different kinds of. I just have one stored in my house. Stephen has different ones. So these are dried beans. That's one thing. Pulses. This is malva flowers, and the seeds of them, they're little cheeses. We had so many of them this year, so I dried them and then ground them into a flour, and I've been adding them when I make bread, and it tastes good. It works. It's extra nutrition, and normally you can eat the seeds like that, so I thought maybe this way we can preserve it and keep it longer. So that's one thing I tried out this year. Then on the next shelf there is sauerkraut. So this is a red cabbage that had split, because normally we just keep our cabbages in the ground and pick them whenever we want to, because we have no strong winters, so they stay until beginning of the year, next year, and to March. But this one was splitting because of the water, so we picked it and then I made it into a sauerkraut just with vinegar. We just massaged salt into it, and then you press it into the jar, and that's about it. For the rest, these are just all sorts of grains that I ordered through a whole food store on the internet. So don't really go to the shops for that. Lentils and raisins and all sorts of quinoas and flours and pasta, and that's the sugar. And then on top here I have my liqueurtjes, mijn borreltjes. So this one is with vodka, and there's 10 sugars of Demerara sugar. I could have also used our own honey. And then there's borage flowers, mint flowers, rose and betony flowers in this one. And you just leave that for a few weeks and it comes out in like a very nice liqueur. Let me go up. I show you the other ones. So we have a sloe gin on the go. And this sloe gin has sugar, gin, juniper berries and sloe berries. And this is about the same one, but then instead of berries, we got cloves and cinnamon and cardamom, sugar and sloes in it. There's also another vodka on the go. This vodka has elderberry juice, Demerara sugar and juniper berries as well. I discovered some juniper berries, so I'm making lots with juniper berries. And then on the back here we have rosehip syrup, which I have more of down there. And this is my little basket of apples and pears. When it's empty, I just go to the mushroom lab where we have our big storage, and then I'll pick the ones that are starting to be off or soft. And then this is the little basket I use to make my porridge in the mornings. Then the next shelf down, we're having mustard seeds. I still have mustard at the moment, but when that mustard is done, I will sift this a bit better and then make it into my own mustard with the mustard seeds. And underneath here we have, I think it's quinoa, yeah, homegrown. But I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna sow it, this one, or if I'll eat it. I'm probably gonna try and eat it. So we didn't harvest much, but it's just fun to have a little patch of it, and then to see what that is like to grow your own and how much work it is actually. So that's those two. Then I have lots of calendula oil on the go that I started a few months ago, and they have to be in for 3 months, or I find it nice to have it in for a while. And this one is valerian tincture that I have going. It's for relaxing, and when you're going to go to sleep, I put it there so I see it, so I can turn it a few times and it gets all around. This is burdock root, so it's a very common plant, but it's very good for liver tonic and acne, for skin problems. And you just dig up the root, you cut it into little dices and dry it, and then Stephen has a really good blender. So I grind it into a powder. It has no taste really, but it's really good for you. So this is one of the things you can put in tea. Then up here we have St. John's wort. I don't think I'm going to explain all the medicinal properties of everything, because you can look that up, it's a bit too long. But I can just go through it quickly what it all is. This is meadowsweet, lavender, what do we have here? I don't know. Yarrow, rose petals, oxide daisy, chamomile, which I tried to grow for 3 years now, but it's just not working with me. I'm not sure. So this is just from the shop, organic one. Actually, this is feverfew that I did grow, and that is the chamomile. And then here we have, they all look kind of the same. This is Bethany flowers, really nice taste. It's a new discovery from this year. This is Balm of Gilead, also a new discovery. I really like this one. It's my favorite one of the last year. Sage, bramble leaf, and I like to keep them all separate because every day I like something else. These are ginkgo leaves. We have a little ginkgo tree, nettle. This is cow parsley flowers, and we have catnip and lemon balm and spearmint and so much. Bergamot. We have bergamot growing, and this is what should we call it? Horsetail. We have apple mint. Then someone gave me baobab powder, which is really interesting for a lot of vitamin C as well. So we didn't grow that, but something new to try out. Cinnamon. This is mugwort and lime flowers and what should we call it? Holy basil. Elder flowers. This is hawthorn flowers, and this is birch leaf. So we got a lot of tea to choose from. As you can see, I love my teas. It's an aspiration of mine to grow more seeds. I'd love to grow more seeds. This is just all bought from the shop, but except for the poppy seeds. I collect lots of poppy seeds and have a little bit in my porridge every once a week or twice a week, because otherwise I won't have enough for the whole year. But I love to try out different seeds to grow. I find sunflower seeds very fiddly, very difficult to do. And then there's some spices, some turmeric. Also, I would love to grow more of this stuff. We're growing a lot of chilies right now. This is nothing compared to the amount that we've grown this year. So actually I don't need the cayenne powder or the chili powder anymore. I could do without that one, because the chilies will just do that. And then we have garlics going on. We didn't grow that many garlics, but if you don't use it every day, like, there's definitely enough for a few months. We're getting through it now though. And then we keep going to more spices. Let's see what we have here, what we grew. This one is not labeled, so must not be interesting. This is hyssop. Comes from the garden. And golden oregano, lemon thyme, rosemary, and we have common thyme. And this is, what was this one again? I put it in there. It must be an interesting one. This is skullcap. Oh yeah, skullcap. It's also very nice to use in different things. I have some saltbush that comes actually still from Spain. It's very good to have food bath with. And this is my homemade sambal, which on the bottom there will be more of. This is my personal calendula oil, and this is St. John's wort oil. Very good for muscle aches. Green tea and black tea just from the shop. And Stephen goes to Africa and he brings back Zambani and Makoni, which are two very nice tea. Then there's the honey from our own bees, and tahini that we use sometimes, my own made toothpaste. Right, and then there's some carrots on the go, because we had to pull up all the carrots, as you saw in another YouTube movie, but they're doing really funky stuff. As you can see, it's all white and it starts to be black on the top. And they're becoming really soft, which I think is also not normal. So instead of keeping it throughout the whole winter, which I was hoping for, I'm just scooping it out and washing it off right now. The white stuff is not bad, Ben says, so I'm just washing it off and then using it in recipes, and I'm going to use it very quick at the moment. Then we have a homemade bread here that I made the other day. And then in the freezer, which is in the barn, I don't have a freezer in the house, we have different things, not so many. We have pesto, this is holy basil pesto, mostly holy basil, and oil and sunflower seeds and salt. So there's a lot of jars like this in the freezer for that. What else? So then we have onions on the go from the garden. And then back here is the real storage. And I wrote down, like, I didn't want to label everything individually this year because it's so much work. So I wrote it all down in a book. Every single row is a different thing. And there's a red currant jam, it's the first one. And this is a cherry compote, should be somewhere. And then we have a jesterberry jam. I think I have to read labels on the front soon because now I kind of know, but I think when we go into the winter I'll forget. I know that this is a cherry jam. So then we have a blackcurrant and windfall apple jam. And then we have a rosehip cordial, which you saw on the top, and also down here there's more of it. Just have to shake it, and then this is a kombucha going on. So there's a few of them that haven't sealed properly. So this is why you need a lager that you can see your jars really well, so you can check them now and again because some things will go off and don't work. So this one, for example, I have to do something with it. That's probably why it's on the front. Then I made appelmoes, as we say in Dutch, which is an apple compote as well, which will go into my porridge. So it's all done without sugar, which means that if you open it, you just have to eat it quicker. I don't like to use much sugar. All of those have no sugar in it unless it's a very sour berry, and then I never put more than 10% sugar. And it's always Demerara sugar. Just because I like to eat as little sugar as possible. Then we have a pear compote as well. Then I made, let's see what else, a vegetable mix. So this is just different kind of veggies all mixed together, cooked up, sterilized jars. So if I make a meal in the Hungry Gap and we only have cabbages, I can just add that to it and have some taste. And these are tomato sauces. So there are 2 long rows of all kinds of tomatoes, of all the tomatoes into a jar. And then this year we didn't have really a glut of stuff because we have more people in the community. So I have very little chutneys. This is a chutney with peppers and tomatoes and aubergines. And then we have a bean chutney as well. I think it's the other way around. This might be the bean chutney. I'm not sure. And then we also made one more chutney with the girls, which was a lot of fun. And then there's a little row with all kinds of sambal, which is a very hot sauce, and you can add it to all sorts of recipes to spice it up, and you can also just add it to your food later on. In bulk, I buy oat milk and coconut cream milk and crackers. I love oat crackers, and I love my vegan mayonnaise, and those crisps, they go just with everything. And I have oat cookies, and I buy everything in bulk, peanut butter and flour. So yeah, okay, that's kind of what I eat. I don't have much variation besides all of this. That's how the winter goes through, I think. And then of course all the fresh veg from the garden. We just picked loads of chestnuts, so I'm making that into, I'm sliding them over their bellies. I'm cutting them actually with scissors, so it's super easy. You just like cut it like this on one side and then cut it on the other side like so. And I have to go through the whole bucket. It's a lot of work, so every morning I do an hour or so. And then they all go into the freezer as well, just like so, uncooked. And then when I want to eat some, I just pop them on the fire, as I did this morning, with a lid on top, and you shuffle it about a few times so they don't burn. And then they just open up and you don't have to peel anymore. So it's a really easy way of doing your chestnuts, which I discovered in the last few days. So yeah, that's a little bit the larder for the for the winter. I must have forgotten some things. What else have I forgotten to go? Oh yeah, I've got this is a geranium oil. I do my massages with that. And on the bottom here I have a meat on the go. So there's meat in that one. In this demijohn is just honey wine. That's been a few months already. I have to put it into bottles right now. And we also have wine, red grape wine on the go, also mixed in with honey to make it sweeter. And there's ciders on the go, but that's all at Stephen's house. And also in the mushroom lab where the apples and the pears are, there's a lot of squash for the winter that we saved. And what I said, the rest, we have salads in the tunnels. So all the tunnels are full with salads for the whole winter. So yeah, that's our shop.